Russian President Vladimir Putin has delivered a Cold War-style speech in his State of the Nation address. His annual pep talk is usually held in December, but this year it comes just 17 days before the voters head to the polls to decide whether he will continue to lead the country for another 6 years. Our Moscow correspondent Chris Brown has been listening into Putin's speech, and he joins me now. Chris, Putin's big reveal was about a new missile system. Tell us about that.
Well, a bit of a surprise in some ways. This speech, which is usually held in December, as you mentioned, tends to focus on the economy. It's a chance to lay out what's going to come up in the year ahead. And Russia has some big economic problems. Its growth rate is very anemic. It did survive the shock of sanctions in 2014, but middle-class growth is basically stagnant. So sort of for the mom and pops out there listening, that's kind of what you sort of expected to hear. And he did spend some time talking about that. And then it was almost as if he turned a corner and got to the stuff that the president really wanted to talk about, and that was all the weaponry that Russia was suddenly trotting out before the world. And they did this in a very dramatic way. They had a huge screen behind them, and that screen was playing computer graphics of missiles flying over mountains and heading over oceans. Basically, the president saying, these missiles are unstoppable. They can go anywhere. They can deliver a nuclear warhead to any part of the world. They can fly forever, and there's nothing anyone can do about them. Plus, we can launch them in any number of different ways. We can launch them off aircraft carriers. We even have an underwater drone, which is going to be undetectable. And then it was almost as if he was turning to the West and said, you haven't listened to us, well, you have to listen to us now. Russia cannot be constrained or contained. So obviously lots of domestic messaging here, but also a lot pointed outwards as well.
Well, let's dig into that a little bit, because Putin's making this address. They're going to head to the elections. He's widely expected to win. There won't be any surprise there. So was that message for a domestic audience, or was it really targeting everyone else outside of Russia?
What I think is going on here is twofold. People here know Putin. He's been around for 18 years, and I think the worry in the Kremlin, that building down there, is that people won't come out to vote. And Putin needs a big, strong mandate from people. They're hoping for 70%. And perhaps this was a way to really galvanize the Russian public. He hasn't had much to say about the economy. There's been no plans, as I mentioned earlier, to sort of turn things around. But this is something that Russians time and time again have responded to. So my sense is that's a lot of what was in this speech, was trying to galvanize people, get them excited about something, anything, so that they would come out and vote on March the 18th.
The CBC's Moscow correspondent Chris Brown, thank you.